What's up, meatheads? Welcome to the video. It's Cinder again, back on the YouTube grind. So I will be competing in a few days and I just wanted to make a short video about what's in my gym bag when I go to a powerlifting meet. Let's dive right into it. Let's go. So again, what's up guys? If you're new to the channel, my name is Cinder. I make videos about lifting and fitness, but really more about lifting. So if you like lifting, then consider subscribing to this channel. Alright, like I said, I'll be competing this weekend in the PAP. So if you've been following the community, the PAP has been having the meet nationals for the whole July. Actually, every weekend of July, there are a few weight classes that compete on the platform. So we're actually the last, so I'm kind of late to the party. But I just wanted to make a video about what I bring to a powerlifting meet, for reference for everyone who is trying to prepare for a powerlifting meet, maybe not now, but in the future meets that are coming. And of course, to aspiring powerlifters as well. So we powerlifters do bring a lot of stuff in the meet. So I divided into 4 categories, that being apparel, equipment, food, and miscellaneous. So let's start with apparel. So kung merong required talaga na dalhin at isuot sa meet, it's the things that are under apparel. So of course, the very first thing that we need when we're gonna compete in powerlifting is a singlet. So I have a Titan Triumph. Of course, under the singlet, we need to be wearing a shirt. So it's also nice to keep your shirt tight because the singlet is quite form-fitting, because that's the whole point of wearing a singlet. So the judges can see if you're hitting depth. Judges can see if your butt is on the bench when you're doing bench press. And you don't want your shirt to be bunching up under that singlet because it looks weird. It's not really comfortable. So choose shirt that's tight. Next up, we have some underwear. If you guys didn't know, it's actually in the rule book that you're supposed to be wearing some briefs, some legless underwear, so you're not allowed to wear boxers. I don't really think that they actually check it in the equipment check, but if you get called out in the platform because the judges notice that you're not wearing legless briefs or legless underwear, then you'd probably be in trouble. So just to be safe, wear some legless underwear because it's in the rule book. So next up are socks. I have a longer pair of socks and a shorter pair of socks. So when you're on the platform for squat and bench, it doesn't really matter how high your socks are as long as they don't touch your knee sleeves. So there has to be a gap between your knee sleeves and your socks and your knee sleeves and your singlet. I think this rule is to avoid people hiding things under your clothes that can actually help you squat the weight, like knee wraps. For deadlifts, you're actually required to have a long pair of socks. I think it's supposed to be over the calf, so it's around right below the knee, for hygiene purposes, of course. Last but not the least, of course, we have some shoes. So these are the 2 shoes that I'm bringing. I'm wearing a pair of Adidas HVCs for squat and deadlift. So you can see that it's really thin, a really sturdy sole. It's my first time competing and actually to test my maxes in flats, so it's quite exciting. And for the bench press, I got myself a pair of FeiYues. I have an affiliate link of this that I will leave in the description. So these are great for bench because they're super grippy. The meet has been going on already, and my friends who competed have already gave a heads up that the carpet can be really slippery. So I'm really being extra cautious by getting the grippiest pair of shoes that I have for bench. Next up, let's talk about equipment. So these are the stuff that can actually help you lift a little more weight that are allowed in competition. So take note, if you're competing in the PAP like I am, the equipment should be IPF approved. If not IPF approved, at the very least PAP approved. So you can go over to the Facebook page of PAP. I think somewhere in their page they have a list of brands that are allowed to use in competition. So first, of course, if you like using lifting belts, these are allowed in competition. I have an Inzer Forever lever belt. It's 13 millimeters. It's relatively new. I just got this a few months ago. And it's my first 13 millimeter belt. I put a little symbol on it in the back that says, God is greater than all our highs and lows. Something to, keep me in the right mindset while lifting. So this is the belt that I'll be using for squats and deadlifts. You're not required to wear a belt. It's personal preference, but you are allowed to if you choose to. Next is some wrist wraps. So I have a pair of SPD, the really long ones. I think this is 1 meter long, so it can't even fit the camera frame. I like using wrist wraps for bench press especially. So this is a pair of SBD flexible 1 meter long wrist wraps. So if you go to the site of SBD, you have an option to get stiff and flexible. I went for the flexible because I'm not a very big bench presser anyway. So last but not the least in the equipment is we have a pair of knee sleeves. So I have a pair of Stoic knee sleeves. The other one's reversed. So as you can see, there are some rubber strips in here to prevent the sleeves from sliding down when you get really sweaty. So I got these off of Amazon. They're really great. I've been using them for a few years now. Never failed me. They keep my knees really nice and warm and give a little pop out of the bottom of the squat. So yun, ulitin ko lang, walang required sa mga to. You can use them if you want, as long as they're approved to use in competition. They may or may not help you lift a little more weight. That's up to you. If you use them in training, then go ahead and use them in the competition. But probably not smart to use a belt if you haven't been training with a belt. Okay, let's talk about some food. So I don't really have the food with me yet because I haven't gone to the grocery. The things that will really help you perform on the day would be caffeine, sodium, and carbohydrates. Carbohydrates for the energy, caffeine for that, you know, extra push of energy, that adrenaline, and of course sodium to prevent from cramping, kasi yun talaga yung kalaban natin sa powerlifting meet. It's the cramps. So if you want to not get cramped, want to perform well, feel like you're full of energy, and get that extra kick from caffeine, then I suggest that you experiment with training. But the things that I like to do, or the things that I will be bringing on the competition, is some actual coffee, black coffee, or probably I'm gonna make some cold brew. That's what I'm gonna use to fuel my squats and bench press, and I'm gonna get a can of an energy drink for deadlifts. I noticed during training that energy drinks do give you a really good kick of caffeine, but after a few minutes, it will make me feel crashed. Kaya gusto ko yung ano lang, kape lang muna, tsaka ako mag-energy drink. I'm gonna buy a few sachets of ORS. So that's an oral rehydration solution. You can buy it in any drugstore that you have in your place. If you check out the electrolyte profiles of an ORS, it's actually pretty good. So it's even cheaper than buying tons of Gatorade. I will still be bringing a big bottle of Pocari Sweat. So that's where I will be getting most of my sodium, aside from the breakfast that I'll be eating on that day. I will also be bringing some bananas and some bread for my intra-meet carbs. It's not a good idea to try something new on that day. Stick with foods that your body is familiar with. Don't go trying a new kind of caffeine or a new kind of carb during the meet day itself, because you don't know how your body will react to it. Last category, let's go to miscellaneous, the things that don't really fit into the other categories. So these are things that will definitely help you perform better on the day. So first, we got a block of chalk. So I got this from Iron Ronin in Lazada. It's cheap, pretty cheap, and it's the chalk that I've been using in training. They will most likely be providing chalk during the meet, but you know, sometimes things get hectic during the meet, so it's nice to have your own block of chalk so that you don't have to be walking around looking for the chalk that is provided. Another essential thing is to bring some baby powder. So if you see guys deadlifting with some really powdery legs, that's baby powder, that's not chalk. So ideally, you should have chalk all over your hands and baby powder all over your legs, so that the bar will slide over your legs but not slip out from your hands. So make sure that you have a handler with you to help you put the baby powder. Once you're all chalked up, you don't want baby powder getting on your hands, so make sure that you have someone else to put the baby powder on your legs for you. Of course, we have some earphones or earbuds, whatever you want to call them. Definitely gonna be helpful to put you in the zone before you get called on the platform. Of course, I'm also going to be bringing a tripod, try to get as much videos as I can. And it's also a good idea to bring your own warm-up equipment. So if you like warming up with some resistance bands, lacrosse ball, whatever things help you get primed, and you know, whatever you do for your movement prep during training. Hindi ka kasi sure kung meron sa gym or sa venue na pinili ng meet. So make sure you have your own. It's always better to have your own kaysa yung umaasa ka sa ipro-provide nila. So that's it guys. Again, I'm going to be competing in a few days. So I'm not really fully prepared. Training hasn't been so good, but you know, this is what it is. We already signed up, so we're gonna show up. If you think that I missed something in the list of things to bring in a powerlifting meet, then let me know in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments kung meron kayong dinadala na, you know, yung personal na sa tingin nyo na nakakatulong sa inyo. So yun, if you want to watch the meet, you can go over to the Facebook page of Powerlifting Association of the Philippines. They're going to be streaming the meet at around 10 o'clock. They also have the streams of the previous meets, so you can go check them out if you're interested to join a powerlifting meet soon, so you can see how things go in a meet. So that's it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.